Good evening, everyone. It's so great to see so many people here. Super, super excited. Yeah, we'll start with what has become a little bit of a habit in the Tuesday evening trainings, and that is an inclusive welcome word. And I've written one for you for tonight. So, welcome to all participants of the Thrid Graviton Training already. And we start this training with an inclusive welcome because we're going on a bit of a journey together for about 10 weeks every Tuesday. We will be working together, learning together. So a very warm welcome to all of you. Welcome to all newcomers, curious, open, and full of expectations. Maybe you have some assumptions, maybe not. Maybe you are here because you're just curious or eager to learn. Or maybe less eager to learn, just want to hang out a little bit and see who are those crazy gravitons. Welcome to everyone who was part of a previous training or maybe some meetings of our gravitons. Thank you for coming back to learn more or maybe to contribute in one or more of the sessions. A special welcome to all genders in this call. Welcome to anyone who identifies themselves as a woman, a man, or neither. Welcome to queer, straight, lesbian, gay, bi, or maybe you don't know yet. Maybe it's faces, maybe it's complex. Welcome who is in perfect health. And welcome who has a disease, visible or invisible, physical or psychological. It's all welcome here. Welcome to complexity. Welcome to diversity in voices, diversity in thoughts, diversities that change all the time, super chaotic. Welcome to not knowing for sure. Welcome to doubt. Welcome to unanswered questions. And welcome to diving deeper. Maybe via some research, maybe reading a book or listening to some people in the coming weeks, maybe they have some answers. Welcome to answers and learning that come from a deeper place. Learning while waiting. Maybe you learn while slowing down. Maybe it's a walk in nature for you after this call, or a conversation with a friend as a learning place. And then, yeah, learning in uncomfortable situations. Uncomfortable learning places, very underrated. Conflict, for example, arguments, friction, tensions, all it's in overwhelming intensity. Meeting ourselves in the other and what that can cause to you as a learning point. With this welcome, we invite you to feel whatever comes up inside of you. And we invite you to embrace it. Your thoughts, your instincts, your deeper intuition, maybe. We invite you to share and embrace the unexpected learning that might happen in the coming weeks. It will ask some bravery from you at points. So for this, we set a bit of a brave space before I go back to Juan. 3 mini rules. There is no monopoly on the truth. You can be as right as another person. It's all fine. Everything's contexts. We are here to learn, and we are open, and we are here to connect. And with this mindset, I give it back to Juan to open the third Graviton session. Juan, back to you.
Thank you, Lynn. Yeah, I hope that you all feel really included and part of this because it's really a group effort that we are doing. And here we have a lot of people who have put their soul, their minds into the design of this training, and that will also participate in the development of the sessions. We have here Lynn, who you already met. We have Bianca, who will be talking to us about the POAPs, that is the certification system that we have. We have Jeremy, that is our Liberating Structures master, and we have Durgadas, that is our Nonviolent Communication and Unified Thinking guru. We have Aloysius also, who is someone who will help us around inclusion and trauma-informed culture. We also have Morgan, and I see some familiar faces like Sean, Maximilian from the Aragon community, and you are all welcome here. Also, the idea of this training is to have a very transversal invitation for the Web3 space to develop this topic that sometimes is overseen, that is our capacity to have healthy relationships with others and even with ourselves, and the capacity to manage complexity that is something very natural that we experience in every relationship. Yeah, with that, I will pass it to Bianca, who will explain how are we going to deliver the POAPs, that is the certification for this training. With the idea is that after you claim 6 of these POAPs per each session, one, you will be able to continue being part of this group and lead some of the educational activities. And also, if you feel comfortable, you can request to be part of the mediators group. And with that, you will be able to facilitate and mediate in conflict that we receive from DAOs. And why that is important, we will cover that later, but I will pass it to Bianca.
Thank you, Juan. Hello, everybody. Good evening, or good morning, or good night, depending where you're from. Juan, can you pass me the host so I can share my screen, please?
Okay, let me a second. I am not so good with this.
All right.
So,
So, yes, thank you. So for the distribution of the POAP, we are using the secret word. So you need to have the app in your phone or in your computer. So if you all have the app in your phone or in your computer, you can put your hands up to let me know if you do it or not, or you can put in the chat. It's very easy.
yeah.
You need to have the app, and then there is this, it's kind of like in here in the left bottom, there is like mind and plus. You click on it, and then there is a secret word, and then you're gonna put in this secret word that shows in your screen. So this is the app, and then you put the secret word that it's showing your screen. And then you're gonna be able to claim your first POAP for the session. Did it work?
Yes.
Yay! If it didn't work, or if you have any trouble with it, you can put in the chat. It doesn't work in a browser. You have to have the app in your computer or in your phone.
Yeah.
And if you can't mine it for some reason, let me know. You can write it down in a chat or something, and then we can figure it out together. Okay? And yeah, that was it. I will pass it back to Juan.
Okay. I will mute the mics that are open. And I feel really excited because I see so many new faces, and I would like to get to know more from all of you. But one of the things that we struggle sometimes in these kind of calls to hear everyone is that if we open the space for everyone to talk right now, we will spend like half an hour or 40 minutes just talking. But we are using this toolbox, which Jeremy is really good at, that it's called Liberating Structures. And it allows us to have like the same dynamics, but using this toolbox to facilitate controlling when the calls are too crowded. So what we will do is that we will use a liberating structures that is called 1, 2 for all. And what we will do is that we will split into breakout rooms and talk a little bit about this question. And what we will do is that we will talk in the small groups, and then we will come to this big group, and the people from a leader from the group will talk some of the things that were shared in the small group. So also, I didn't present myself. My name is Juan Carlos. I am Juan Carlos Bell. I am leading the Gravity Working Group in the TEC, and happily leading this training to develop skills around nonviolent communication, around building trust, around having competence regarding conflict management. And yeah, I am super excited to have you all here. So the guiding question for our activity is going to be these two questions that you can answer, either one of them, the two of them, together or separately. So I will be pasting this in the chat. And these are some of the questions. What are some of the common conflicts you experience in your everyday life? And also, what is your motivation around developing skills to manage conflict? We will be having, as I said before, breakout rooms, and we will talk about this, and we will have like 5 minutes in the breakout rooms, and then 5 minutes here sharing what we debriefed in the breakout rooms. Is everyone okay with that? Is it all clear? Okay, so the two questions, I repeat them, is what are some of the common conflicts you experience in your everyday life, and what is your motivation around developing skills to manage conflict? So I will create the breakout rooms. And yeah.
I just wanted to say, I don't recall if when we break out, we have this in a chat somewhere. I can't remember if that lives somewhere. Every time that I leave a group thing or something shared, I usually copy down questions onto a notepad. I don't know if that's helpful for anyone else to hear, but just in case we hop over and the questions are gone.
I will send it again once we are in the breakout rooms, and we will have 4 to 5 participants per each breakout room. So each one can have 1 minute to answer these questions, and then we will make a debrief when we come back. So I will create them, and they will be automatically assigned. Perfect, and open.
So my name is Dunya, and I'm currently in Morocco. My answer, what are some of the common conflicts you experience in everyday life? The first thing that came to mind is different expectations when there's like conflicting, like what, and I think that kind of encompasses a lot of different types of conflicts when there wasn't clear communication. And sometimes you don't even know you have certain expectation until the situation doesn't meet what you had in mind that you didn't even know you had in mind. So that's one. And then why I'm interested in this training, I guess it's, not just training, specific skills to manage conflict. My approach to managing conflict in general is just listening. Listening and echoing. That's all I do. I'm literally like a parrot. And I find that actually it works really well if your quality of listening is genuine. But I'm curious to enrich my toolbox and to exchange with others around what works and doesn't work, and to practice as well. So that's me. Should I pass it to someone, or should we do popcorn style?
Pass it.
Oh, great, because I was just gonna pass it to you.
Okay. Okay, hi, I'm Incandenza from Italy. And common conflicts I experience are the ones which could be like among friends or in teamworks, where you have both cooperation and competition and the boundaries are not clear. And when cooperation, there's supposed to be cooperation, but there is also competition, and then conflicts might arise. And the reason why I'm here, well, because of course managing conflict is a very important skill, especially because we might have the tendency of avoiding conflict sometimes when we think that conflict can be painful. So that was me, and I pass it to Guillermo.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. I'm from Mexico City. I could say that my common conflict in every day is, as you mentioned, most of the time expectations from the near people around me, especially family, friends. I have learned when you have no expectations, the things are more simple and you can advance and you can solve most of the things in a faster way. So I have that lesson that I can share. And why I'm interested in this training is because I think the tendency is to be more inclusive, and that means more complex, and that means more conflicts. And the people who have the skills to see that like as something normal, not like adversities, an opportunity to grow, is going to be the radical shift, right? That's what I am interested in. I pass to Rainer.
Hi there. I'm Rainer. I'm from Germany, Munich in the south of Germany. Some common conflicts. I'll make a very simple example. I have two small kids. They're 7 and 9 years old. So there are conflicts all the time around autonomy, how much freedom do I give them? Where does my responsibility begin to protect them from something? How do we make decisions together? And so on and so on. So even if I didn't have any kind of work or any kind of job, that would be a daily source of conflict. And what's my motivation around developing skills? In hierarchical organizations, it's on the surface fairly easy to manage conflict because you can just delegate it up. You can say, boss, you sort it out, right? And in DAOs, there is no up often, right? So you have to deal with it yourself or find someone who can help you to deal with it, because otherwise there's no way for you to keep working together or grow together or develop together. So and that's what I'm curious about. It's lovely to be here. Thank you. I'll pass on to Turquoise.
Actually, Carl, are you able to go first? I'd love to hold space to hear everyone before I chime in. I'm just in a transitionary spot right now.
For me, I experience conflict almost every day and every hour of my life, because I have conflict sometimes with my emotions. Sometimes I have conflict with my thoughts. Sometimes I have conflict with others. Sometimes I have conflict with my context. So I am someone who is very passionate about seeing conflict as something, as an opportunity, and that's why I also tend to see a lot of conflict. I also see conflict in our nation states, in our working environments, and my real motivation to develop skills to manage conflict is to have a less violent world. I think that we have really abusive systems, and that somehow we are right now transitioning into the DAO space that are new institutions. But if we don't work in the cultural side of them, we might reproduce some of these abusive patterns, and I want to have like an impact on this. Are you available to talk now, Turquoise?
I am. I just didn't know if I was supposed to wait for you to pass it to me. So I didn't know if you were complete. Yeah, thank you for that. My name's Turquoise. I am currently in the northern part of California in the US. How do I experience conflict? Well, most recently, it's been in the context of developmental process, facilitating coherent culture at organizations. And so it's group coherence that's out of consonance is mostly what I'm looking at in terms of communication. So my inquiry here is in part around conflict, but more around cohesion, as in cultural cohesion, and consilience, in creating like fields of resonance for people to do things together. And so this is, I was just invited by Jeremy and Durgadas to hop in over here, because Jeremy helps over at Liminal DAO and in some other spaces. I work in the integral world, and so I'm just hopping in to see what's going on over here. So thank you for having me.
Thank you all for speaking this short time, and I will create the big room again so that we can hear what the others talked. See you there.
Thank you.
How did the exercise go for you? Who wants to share something that they found relevant in the activity?
This meeting is being recorded.
Thanks, Internet Lady.
I can share just some reflections. I thought it was really incredible to hear all the perspectives being so aligned with my own, which is really surprising. Like there's a lot of, I guess, a recognition for deep listening that is desired by, I think, a lot of people, or at least the people that I spoke with. And this kind of effort to come together and learn techniques in order to allow for more space to actually hear people when they're speaking is kind of a really a great kind of drive and push. So really excited to kind of open up with that and start learning more.
Who from other group wants to share their experience? We will have some more minutes around this, and I only participated in one group, so I would really like to hear from the other people.
I'll go. My name is Adri. I'm here from Odyssey DAO, and we are an educational DAO, and something that we were discussing was how do we kind of bring conflict resolution into DAOs, and what does that look like, especially when you have you're leveraging communities pretty early on in an organizational life cycle. Yeah, my teammates, I had two in my breakout room that were from another DAO, and then I didn't catch our last teammate, what DAO they were in, but everyone, I think the consensus was learning how to apply conflict resolution skill sets into the DAO, and what does that look like in Web3?
One consistent theme that echoed throughout all of the participants in my breakout room was that a lot of conflict, so some conflict is just born out of a difference of opinion, but the least productive conflict and the most intense or unhelpful conflict was usually around people miscommunicating or not communicating their ideas or desires or needs, and also assuming that they understood what another person meant or wanted, what they not necessarily did. So that was an interesting thing that in our own ways, all of us more or less hinted at miscommunication being a key source of conflict.
And I agree with that. We came to the same conclusion in our group as well. So it was between that, and then we also had like cultural and language differences as well. So between cultures, there can be sometimes misunderstandings. And then same thing, obviously, if someone speaks a different language, then that can be a huge blocker as well. And I think all of us are here to just understand conflict resolution and to learn so that we can apply these things in our own lives.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Who wants to share? We have like 2 minutes, two more minutes on this, and then we will continue with the agenda. Okay, I can share. Oh, something really short, and from my group, I loved that someone talked about that even if you don't work in an environment, you can experience conflict every day at your house. Like if you have children, if you have a relationship with brother, sister, mother, parent, boyfriend, girlfriend, friends, we are always negotiating and facing that the reality is not only what we think of it, but that we have that other person who is equally valid, who is equally feel who has like the same feelings than you, and that the conflict arises within that relationship, and that it's not only with work, but it's something that we can see in every relationship. And yeah, Spectra, I'll pass it to you.
Yeah, I was in the group with Finton and Adri. Yes, you think you experience everyday conflicts if you have kids. Wait till you have teenage kids. But yes, so my main motivation is to see how it would work in a DAO environment, because it's brand new, and basically there are no set rules. So I just want to see how it works out, because I think it will be really important. And Morgan is raising a hand.
Yay, thank you. I'll do that. Sweet. Something that stood out in our group, and group, feel free to chime in, please. We can speak together on this. But it was pointed out that we're aiming to do a lot of like collective work. We're aiming to leverage the 99%. We are aiming to change structures within DAOs that have caused a lot of community and worldwide violence. And so figuring out how to work together and streamline communication and care and share resources and not take up too much space, and make sure that you can like be in healthy relationship with one another. We need to up our capacity to be able to take on that complexity. And in that complexity, it'll be inherently, there's going to be conflict present, because we're navigating super complex problems together. So the need is high. And I think that there is a mutual expression of like gratitude of being able to like practice this with one another. If I missed anything, group, please add in.
Please go, Sean.
Yeah, so kind of speaking on what she was saying, like, you know, I think inevitably we're going to have disagreements, and this is something I brought up in our breakup group as well. But it's I think we need to differentiate between like a disagreement and a conflict, right? Because not all disagreements are conflicts. So if we go into a situation thinking, oh, this is a conflict, then like we're automatically like labeling it that way. And I feel like that kind of sets the stage in our minds to have it like escalate. Whereas if we come into saying, you know, hey, I disagree with this person is saying, but I want to like maybe stay humble and like hear them out. And it just, I don't know, for me, it just changes the perception of that situation when we don't automatically call it a conflict.
Amazing. I think all what you've said, you will encounter something that resonates with you within this training. This training has a very diverse offers within the sessions, but you will find something that can resonate with you and something that you can apply in your everyday life. I will start sharing my screen, and I will go to the next point of the agenda, where we will make a little debrief on the study plan that we're proposing. It's really interesting also, because right now we were more or less setting the expectations of the training, and now we are going to be talking about the moderation of the training and the methodology of the training, so that everyone can be like in the same page. This is the third Graviton training. We have done 2 other Graviton trainings, and here's the registration spreadsheet. After this, you can call yourself a graviton, and the graviton, it's the hypothetical quantum of gravity, a particle that mediates the force of gravitational interaction. So why we are gravity? Because if people in a community starts getting themselves apart from each other, we try to be that force that helps people to come together with communication into the same ground. So this is the gravity style interactions designed by Durgadas that has 3 main moments, and it's our methodology of this of all these sessions, where we have first a curation moment, where we have set some literature for each session. Then we have a moderator who is someone who has a unique point of view and expertise on the context, and we'll hold the space for the session. And then we have a cross-pollination, where is that each session also has a moment for a yes and discussion, for exchanges and connection. And that way we go into a participation and co-creation dynamic, also where after the cross-pollination we initiate again the curation phase. And what I like about being able to talk about conflict management is that it's a really wide topic, so we don't have to always have like the same speech or the same facilitators, but if you feel that you have something to share in the next iterations of the training, you can also come to this curation phase and say, hey, I want to facilitate a session. There's something that I have to give and that it's inside me. Also, that after this training, the Graviton should be able to make an effort to be present and accessible to their community, bringing high vibe and promoting relationship of trust, separating people from problems. Sometimes that's one of the key things that happen, and is that when we see a problem, we say, hey, that problem is that person. And something really important for conflict management is to separate the individuals from the problems. The problems are a situation where individuals are participating, but the individuals per se are not the conflict or the problem. They are agents participating in the situation. The Graviton should be able to identify themselves and others as equals. The Graviton should be able also to self-determinate from all parties and recognize management points, promote empathy between conflicting parties, adapt their mindset for tolerance to conflictive situations, propose alternatives to deal with paradoxes, and act according to institutional regulations while implementing actions to frame unwanted behavior within rules and boundaries. So basically, DAOs are really autonomous organizations, decentralized autonomous organizations, but that autonomy also creates a little bit of this gray area where we don't know what are the boundaries. So one thing that we promote in Gravity is that each organization should also support their conflict management with a policy development, because when you have like institutional regulations inside a community, you can have like a common truth that can be like a point of reference for the community. But if you don't have institutional regulations regarding conflict in your community, maybe it will fall into that everyone can be right and there's no objective source to stand on, and like because everything is subjective, everyone is right. So it's not only having the mindset to promote empathy, but also to create the environment where there are clear rules that act like a social contract. And one key question that I think gives legitimacy to all this work is that really all laws are social contracts. So the fact that we can make social contracts in DAOs, it's also a way that we can manage the behavior inside the community, and create like boundaries where we can predict and promote the wanted behavior and sanction the unwanted behavior. So the objective of this training is also that you are able to use in a basic level of competence the conflict management framework developed by Gravity with all the different toolings like Liberating Structures and Deep Democracy. And also understanding this framework that is the 4 Ps that has different moments and aspects within the transformational process. This 4P framework is developed by Gravity based on a model, a previous model that was called the PPP model, and it's very used for within the Harvard School. But here we added a 4th P that is possible solutions. So what are the 4 Ps? Are people, problem, process, and possible solutions. And when you go through the training, you will notice that these are the modules that we will be going through. We will be, when we are analyzing a conflict, these are like the 4 key things that will help you map the situation and understand and look for possible solutions. As I said initially, like separating people from the problem, but also recognizing what is the process that is happening inside the conflict and the possible solutions. This is very practical. And in the second session, I will give you, okay, this is the first session, and we are doing all these like expectation settings and the methodology, presentation of the models, and getting to know the people. So in the second session, will be Durgadas talking about decolonization, complexity, and unified thinking. Do you want to talk a little bit, make a brief explanation of your module, Durgadas, and also invite people to check this content for your session?
Yeah, so my training is in. I lived in a Hindu monastery and non-dual sort of philosophy. So I asked myself a question, can I live my life in that? Can I build a building like this? Can I talk to people about it? Can I write about it? Can I talk about it in cryptocurrency? So I really just came in as an experiment, and it somehow sort of worked out. So a lot of what I'm talking about is taking the duality and kind of using it against itself to create a kind of a harmony inside of there, right? So my approach is sort of fundamentally subversive. The idea is that you take these 2 dualities, which seem like they're in conflict, and find a way to actually mash them up in such a fashion as that not only do you get resolution to the duality, but you also get like an understanding of the sort of diaspora of potential generative things that can come from that. And my model relies on the hemispheres of the brain and some other things, and also I apply that to DAOs generally, and I find that most people come from like this extractive abusive side, and they want to just call themselves a DAO. But what about all the stuff in the middle? And I think Gravity is a big step toward sort of unlearning some of those habits that we learned in the previous extractive systems. And so I'm trying to apply that same sort of resolution principle of using dualities subversively against themselves. And I have a lot of models and graphics that I've made supporting that stuff. So, and I've been working with Wonka on Gravity for over a year and a half now, I think. So it's been, he and I really from the beginning.
Thank you, Durgadas, and you all will love his designs and his infographics. I really love the one that looks like a pendulum, and that what you were saying, like using duality against itself, and how we are moving within that pendulum, but we can also somehow try to place ourselves in a place where we can use that duality against itself, like the way that we swing in a swing, like you make that counterforce to make it that it makes you meet your intentions. Then the third session will be led by Morgan. Morgan, would you like to talk a little bit about your session?
Most definitely. I'm on my phone, I'm navigating this. Here we go. Yeah, so the session that I'll be leading will be based around getting to know how our bodies have ended up participating pretty complicitly in systems of violence together, and noting what hardwired tools we have to be able to consciously engage in consensual relationships with one another as a reparative action to the kinds of trauma that we've experienced in previous organizations or in our relationships and within the systems of oppression that co-act on the day-to-day basis. So we'll be like narrowing it down to how you can use your body as the most powerful tool to support the work that you're up to create trauma-informed relationships, and thus those relationships build culture. So super stoked to share that with you all. And Allo, did I miss anything?
I think that's good. Yeah, this is the first module where we will be talking about the people, the people aspect of this 4P framework. And the 14th of June, we will have Didan. I don't know if he's in this room, but he will be talking about nonviolent communication. Nonviolent communication is a framework developed by Marshall Rosenberg that gives us like really practical ways of communicating without violence and trying to promote what it's giving from the heart. So we will have like a summary of the principles of nonviolent communication, but we will also have like a small practice where we will try to have the same argument and make it into a nonviolent communication phrase. Because sometimes we are not really aware of that, but we can say multiple things. We can say the same thing multiple ways. And the way that we express our message is almost as important as the message itself. You can tell someone, I love you, but if you do that, hitting them, or yelling to them, you are not being coherent with the message and the intent and the wording and that you are using. So Marshall Rosenberg talks about this Offner process, that it's observation, feelings, needs, and requests, and it's a practice and a framework that helps you not only when you are speaking to someone, but also when you are listening to someone. Because sometimes we express something and we have some needs and we want those needs to be met, but we never mention our needs. So it's also very effective in the way of that if you want something, you have to be able to express that needs and also make honest requests instead of like imposing something. And also when someone is talking to you, you should also make like an observation phase. And sometimes processing through the noise and getting the real signal of what the other person is saying, and relating to the feelings of everyone as equals and as equally valid. Yeah, after that session, that will be the 14th of June, we will jump into the problems side of the picture. And this is something that I am really, really, really proud for giving you. And it's a Graviton guide, and it's a step-by-step guide for mediation in DAOs. So this will be like a gift for you that you are participating in this training. And the idea is that with these simple slides, you will be able to at least when you face a conflict, at least have some proposed alternatives towards having a proactive reaction and a proactive response to that conflict. So here we have the Liberating Structures Toolbox that Jeremy will tell us more about. And here we have like the 4 Ps and some key factors that you can identify in each of the 4 Ps, like the people, problem, process, and possible solutions. And when you are mapping possible solutions, like exploring alternative paths, also you have here some guiding questions when you are talking with someone regarding a conflict and you want to have information. Here are some guiding questions, and also like a first approach of if you want to mediate in a situation, how to approach someone that you are wanting to have a private meeting with. So this will be like the gift for you, and the idea is that you apply this Graviton guide in the 9th session. We will make study groups, and the idea is that each of the study groups can select one conflict and apply the 4Ps framework to that conflict to identify who is the people, what is the problem, what is the process that is happening, and what are some possible solutions. So this is like a homework that you will have for the 9th session to apply the 4P framework to a chosen conflict. And all these are literature that more or less support and that are really interconnected to the philosophy behind gravity and to the process that we have in the Graviton guide. So this is what I was talking earlier: support conflict management with policy development, also conflict transformation, a framework that it's called the balcony, bridge, and third side, that it's getting to yes in challenging times. This is a really cool video. Also mediation skills, a reconciliation ritual that I really like to participate and that we will do at some point in the training, and some blog post, and also some work in progress that we are doing that will improve the legitimacy of the agreements that we have in Gravity. Then we will have Lynn. Would you like to give a little overview of your session, Lynn?
Sure, I can just quickly introduce deep democracy. So deep democracy is a mindset, and it's a toolbox. And what it does is it's a toolbox to create group dynamics. And special about deep democracy is that it looks like at the way you include voices in your decision-making processes and how democratic your group is in making decisions. So yeah, I'm happy to spend a session on what it is and how you can use it in your meetings, and how you, and hopefully at the end of the hour, how you can include the no voices in your group, because very often in meetings we hear a lot of la, 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 and then suddenly there's a li, and we always call that the annoying person. Now, how can you use the wisdom that is hiding in that one person that is sometimes causing conflict or, you know, a little bit of unease and uncomfort? How can we add the wisdom in that person, hiding in that person, into the decision?
Yeah,
so I will show you a little bit of that in that session.
I am really amazed by that session, and like talking about the iceberg and the water line, the resistance line. Those are really cool concepts. Then we will come into the module of process, and Loie, she's also an expert in dispute resolution, and she's leading the conflict resolution efforts in Gitcoin. And she will be having a talk about decentralized dispute resolution and why it's important to have accountability, why it's important to have conflicts, and why building trust is a key part for resolving conflict. Also talking about what the restorative justice circles methodology is. Then we will have Jeremy with really practical sessions about liberating structures. He will be talking about the liberating structures and making some dynamics like the one we did today. But I will open the space for you, Jeremy, if you want to say something.
Damn right. Liberating structures are a set of tools that you can use to share thinking and effectively distribute group consciousness and awareness. So we're gonna be hoping to fast track and introduce a state of being and awareness called process mindfulness that is a sort of collective metacognition. So to enable you to really step into the possibility space and become conscious designers of not only your own experience, but actually the entire group's experience. So fuck with me, come hang out.
Okay, and then we will go to the last module of the training that is looking for possible solutions. And this is the more practical area of the training. In the 9th session, you will have to make a presentation using the 4-piece framework. So we will have like groups, and each group will have 5 to 10 minutes to present the application of the 4-piece framework to a conflict you can choose freely. Like, okay, this is the conflict that my children are facing, that they are fighting over an orange. Or this is the conflict that I am experiencing in my organization where the no voices aren't being included. So with the tools that you have from the training, the idea is that you can make a presentation of what was your initial perception of a conflict and how with these toolings you can at least take it to a more mature stage of comprehension. And then in the 10th session, me and Jeremy will make a role play. And the idea is that we have had mediation in 24 cases right now in the DAO space. And what we will do is that we will take some of these cases, take the names off, and have you play those scenarios that actually happened in the DAO space. So you won't have like all the same conflict. I will try to design at least 5 different conflicts so that you will have like the time to deal with this conflict, to role play it, and then when we make a debrief in the big room, you will be able to hear other conflicts and how were they tackled using the different toolings that we have. Because also for solving conflicts, it's not one tool fits for all. It's like each conflict has a different approach, and we will give you like different conflicts, and you will have the opportunity to listen to the others and to the other conflicts. So with that, we end the training, and that's the stage 1 of the Graviton path, where you can call yourself a Graviton. But if you continue gaining experience within our educational activities, because we also have book clubs, practice groups, coordination calls, and if you feel the agency and that you want to continue contributing, you can become an active Graviton and manage conflict in your community. So you can say, okay, I am in this DAO, and if someone has a conflict, I can be easy access conflict management agent to have this first approach, and you can have also like a group to rely on, but also the intention to help on this coordination and these conflictive issues. So this is the explanation of the training. I hope you feel motivated. I really look forward to see this presentation of the analysis of a conflict. I also think that the people that is going to facilitate the sessions are expert on that area, and I really like that it's not like a monopoly of speech. We will have really different voices, and that I am sure that after this training you will have a lot of new things learned and a lot of tools to put in practice. So with that, we can wrap up this first session, and thanking you all for your presence.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you
So
all.
Thank you so much.
I want to
Awesome.
ask if
Thank you.
everybody was able to get the PO app.
Yeah, I got it. Thank you.
Link the POAPs.
Everyone, see you.
Thanks
you.
everyone.
Thank you.
See you.
Thank
you.
Thank you.
Bye, see ya.
Thanks.
cuídense.
Thank you.
Everyone, take care.
Ciao.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Bye, thanks.
Adios. Bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Ciao.
Bye.
Travels, everybody.